Hey guys, Yip here coming with another video, and this one is going to be about 7.2 for Warlocks. Now, with 7.2 coming out, that means a lot of new things for Warlocks and a lot of new things for everyone in general. The new Mythic Pluses that are coming out, the Karazhan, new traits to be grinding for, a whole new raid instance. All of these things kind of combined together are going to bring a lot of players back for the patch, and it's actually quite a good time to come back to the game right now. So yeah, 7.2 is coming out. This is awesome. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit insight about what specs you should be pairing for Tomb of Sargeras, which specs are going to be the best, and give you guys some insight towards it. So first, let's start by talking about Affliction. So Affliction in 7.2 is going to be a great spec for single target, okay? We're getting a lot of new tools to make us excel even further than how much we already do at single target. If you're to look at Affliction's boss damage on Starger, if you're to look at Affliction's boss damage on a boss like Croesus, on a boss like Chronomatic Anomaly, on a boss like even Tychondrius and Spellblade, Affliction is topping the charts on most of those bosses, and it's only going to get better for Affliction on single target. We're getting a new trait called Ren's Soul, which will allow us to generate additional Reap stacks throughout the fight. So when you cast Drain Soul, you're going to have a 12% chance to proc one of these just based off the damage tick, and while Reap is active, it will buff it to 24%. So roughly every single Drain Soul, you're going to be getting a stack of Reap Souls, and that's very good for consistency on single target. Right now, it tends to be fairly RNG when we get our stacks throughout the fight. It's around 4.5 procs per minute, but as a whole, this is something we can really look forward to on a lot of boss progression, because currently something Affliction struggles with is consistency with regards to Reap. But now with this change that they're going to implement into the game, it's going to get a lot better. Now, with regards to Affliction tier, obviously it's looking quite weak at the moment. Blizzard say they will be monitoring this and seeing what sort of changes they should make. The reason why the Affliction tier looks so weak is not because of the effect itself. The effect isn't bad. 10% haste is quite good. That's like 3,000 haste that you're just giving to the Warlock after channeling a full Drain Soul. But the thing is you actually have to sit there and channel a Drained Soul, and this buff only lasts for 5 seconds, meaning that you're going to be trying to stand still as much as possible, and as we've known, with all the new mechanics and all the stuff that Blizzard's trying to do to make raids more difficult, often standing still is just not an option. So while it is a great tier set for single target, unfortunately this is just going to be something that we're going to have to deal with, and hopefully Blizzard changes in the future, and if they don't, Affliction is most likely just going to be that single target spec that you go for. Now with regards to multi-dotting, Affliction will still be good at multi-dotting. The only thing is you're really just going to be missing out on that additional Reap that you could be getting from Drained Soul. So obviously if you have a lot of targets to dot, if you're running a low amount of haste, you're going to have a very hard time trying to fit your Drained Soul casts in on a boss fight. So overall, the effectiveness of Affliction on multi-target is going to go way down. Writhe and Agony will still be good, it's just that MG is beginning to become so much better, and same with Haunt because of the more consistent Reap. If you guys don't know, Haunt is a very good ability if you're able to have Reap every single time Haunt is up, but unfortunately right now with the RNG that's not the case. Obviously in 7.2 that's changing, so for Affliction in 7.2, expect it to be the strongest Warlock spec on single target and single target with ads that are spawning, such like a boss like Tychondrius where Affliction already is the strongest single target spec. So expect that's what Affliction is going to specialize in, but in terms of ad cleaving, in terms of ad damage, Affliction is going to be one of the weaker Warlock specs. So Affliction is going to be good to have in your arsenal, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend, if you guys are going for progression, to focus on this spec purely. Now I want to move on to talking about Destro and Demo. So Destro and Demo are slightly more able to be hybrid specs this tier. Destro, obviously, its single target didn't really get buffed. It didn't really get changed with the new traits or with the tier set, although the Destro tier set is very good. It causes your Chaos Bolts to be affected by 100% Mastery, which is quite nice. It makes Mastery more of a less RNG stat for a Destro Warlock, and will obviously up the value of it quite a bit. But in terms of Destro, you're going to be wanting to play Destro in Tomb of Sargeras if you're focused on serious progression rating, because it's going to be such a powerful spec on a lot of bosses where Affliction or even Demonology will struggle. As we saw in the Nighthold, Destro is by far the best spec in the game for Elisand, and it's also reasonably good for Gul'dan. So on fights where you're able to abuse Havoc, Destro is arguably the best spec in the game, which means it's going to be very strong for your raid composition. So obviously, if it's any sort of cleave, which I can tell you there is cleave fights in the Tomb of Sargeras, you're definitely going to have Destro as an option for you to play. It's kind of unfortunate that Blizzard has done this. It's made it so you kind of need to be able to play all 3 lock specs in order to specialize at all of the things. But at the same time, if you have classes in your raid that are able to do cleave DPS and you want to be that kind of guy, because single target is important, like on Elasan, for example, you do need a certain amount of single target damage, and a lot of guilds do run that Affliction Warlock because it's able to do the most single target to push certain phases and stuff like that. So that may be your role in the Nighthold or in Tomb of Sargeras as an Affliction lock, but for the most part, you're probably going to want to be between Affliction and Destro when this patch releases, and it's honestly won't be too hard with the way that they're making artifact knowledge and legendaries. So that's kind of covering Destro. Now Demo is kind of your in-betweener. It's going to be good at single target and it's going to be good at cleaving. So with regards to Demonology, the trait differences that they're going to make is that they're just going to make your pets do more damage, and also whichever target your Dreadstalkers are attacking, your imps will be doing 20% more damage to them. So what this kind of means is if you're on a cleave fight, say for example like Botanist, and you're attacking the main Botanist on Mythic, now your Dreadstalkers on that main target will make all of your imps hit that main target for 20% more, okay? So it kind of doesn't buff the cleave, but it drastically buffs the single target of a Destro Warlock or Demonology Warlock, considering how much damage our imps already output, okay? Now, as we've seen in the Nighthold, Demo is also very good at cleaving. Demo is an excellent boss for Botanist on Heroic and Mythic. Demo is excellent on Tychondrius. It's excellent on Spellblade. It is arguably better than Affliction and Destro at 3-target and 4-target cleaving, okay? So Demonology is going to be one of those specs that if you don't really want to go between 2 specs, you don't want to play Affliction and you don't want to play Destro, Demo is definitely going to be the spec for you because it will be both good at cleaving and at single target. So it's kind of going to be the all-in-one spec for Warlocks. Plus the tier set is super nice for Demonology. So just to kind of wrap it up, Affliction is going to be by far one of the best single target specs in the game if they don't change anything. It is going to trump every other class. I personally believe it's going to be like Fury Warriors on single target. It's going to be absolutely crazy if they don't make any changes. Demonology will be one of the in-between specs. It'll be good for cleaving, but it will also be good in scenarios where you just want to be doing pure single target. And finally, Destro is obviously going to be that hybrid spec where it's extremely good at 2-target cleaving, and it's something that every raid group would really like their Warlock to be playing, okay? So hopefully this, guys, gives you a better idea of what you should expect come 7.2. Tomb of Sargeras is going to be a great raid. We're going to have time to test out all of this new stuff in the Nighthold before Tomb comes out. And I'm going to let you guys know, okay, Tomb is not all ad fights. There are single target fights. So if you feel kind of screwed because the Nighthold doesn't have a whole lot of single target, there are single target bosses in Tomb, which will make Affliction a very powerful spec. I will be continuing to play Affliction come this patch because I believe Affliction is currently one of the best specs in the game simply because of its ability to put out a lot of damage on single target fights. Look at every single parse for Tychondrius on boss damage. That just super amplifies the strengths of Affliction. Affliction is one of the only specs in the game that's able to do over 1 million single target DPS just if other ads are spawning to give you those Wrath of Consumption buffs, okay? So hopefully you guys are excited for 7.2 as I am. I'm really excited to start the grind of Mythic Plus again for artifact power. I'm excited to test with the new traits, get some new gear, get some new Titan Forge stuff, and hopefully some new legendary as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to let the rest of this Moss Souls dungeon play out. And for those who watch the whole video, I'm going to be doing another log review stream. So there's going to be another log review stream this Sunday on the 26th. So if you guys want to come hang out with me, it will start at 11 EST. You guys can come, we'll hang out, I'll look at some logs, I'll go over some analysis. I think it really does help a lot of Warlocks out, and it really does let you know what you could be improving on a boss fight. A lot of the time it's very simple things, a lot of it's time there's things that, 1 or 2 players could be working on, or 1 or 2, things that you could be working on as a player, and I think I've helped a lot of people out with it. So definitely come, check out my stream, twitch.tv/YFTD on this Sunday. I do log reviews every 2 weeks, and hopefully we can improve some people's gameplay and see some cool logs. There's also top ranking logs that come there and post their logs, so we're able to look at some really good players as well. So, yep, that's it for me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Yep, a lot of new content for 7.2. I'm excited. I'm going to be making a lot of videos, guys, so keep an eye out. We'll see you all later.